Problem number 4. This equation is called a quadratic, or a second degree equation. And then it looks like I'm going to have 5 questions about this graph. So I went ahead and put it under y equals, and then I'm going to push graph and see kind of what it looks like. Okay, the first question is about the vertex. In order to find the vertex of a parabola, in this case, this is a minimum value because the graph opens upward. So I'm going to ask the calculator to find this minimum value for me. I'm going to go into, let's see, second, calculate, minimum. And then I need to go, let me go close to that vertex. Now, the first thing you have to do is be on the left of the vertex. Then you push enter. Then you use the right arrow to go to the right of the vertex. And just to make sure that you're doing this right, you want to look at these 2 arrows and make sure they're pointing to each other. It tells you can guess, but I'm just going to push enter. These 2 numbers you can round. So the vertex of my graph is 3, negative 4. Now, the next question asks about the axis of symmetry. And what that means is where can you fold this graph so that it'll fold on top of each other. So, as you can see from the blue line that I just drew, you can fold this graph at x is equal to 3. And just so you know, the axis of symmetry can always be found in the vertex. It tells you where you can fold it. When x is 3, that's where you can fold the parabola. Next question asks for the y-intercept of the graph. Let's look at, I'm actually going to push the button trace. Oh, of course, it's nowhere close. You know where I'm going to look instead? Why don't I look in table? Hit second, then hit graph. This takes you to the table. And the y-intercept is where x is 0. So the y-intercept is at 5. So the y-intercept is at y equals 5. The x-intercepts. Oh, look, you can see them right here on the table. Here's 1. This x-intercept is 1, excuse me, x equals 1. And the other intercept is at 5. And if you want to make sure that you're right, go back to the graph and you can count. Here's the first time it hits 0. That's at 1. 2, 3, 4. Here's the second one. That's at 5. The last step is to write this in vertex form. I think on your formula sheet it tells you what vertex form is. So if you're not sure, you can flip back to your formula sheet now. But it looks something like this. Y is equal to x minus 3. You subtract the x value of your vertex squared plus, oh, actually I'm going to change that, minus your y value. So one more time, all you do is just take the x value of your vertex and put it there, and take the y value of your vertex and put it there. And you should be aware that this will always be the opposite. In other words, you're always going to subtract whatever answer for your x you had. So even though this is supposedly a 3, a positive 3, it'll still be written as x minus 3.